Here I've got a web page called cover.html. There's a set of HTML tags, there's a set of head tags. In the head tags we've got style tags, and the two styles are for body, padding of 0 pixels and margin of 0 pixels, and image, height of 100% and width of 100%. That's the whole head. Here's the body. Inside the body we have an image tag, image source equals news.ping. Well, right here is cover.html open in a browser, and you see this broken image because we don't have a news.ping yet. Let's create one. Let's open up Paint and let's create something called news.ping. File, save as, in my desktop or on my desktop, inside audio-nav folder, inside of box. We're going to create this thing called news.ping. I'm going to save it. I'm going to use my font here. I'm going to make it pretty big, as big as I can. Of course, it's not letting me. 72. News. Move it, I guess, right about there. Let's give it a background color of, I don't know, maybe this baby blue. And use the paint can to fill it up. Alright, so there's an image called news. I can make this look like a TV slightly by grabbing the oval. And I guess I'll use black still. See if I can make my oval right about here. Maybe I'll make a couple dials. Pretend dials. I'll select this, copy and paste it so I have the exact same circles. I'll give them a fill of silver, and I'll give this pretend TV a fill of brown. So this is the illusion of an old-timey TV. A couple knobs, an oval for the screen, and the word news inside. So now I've got my news.ping saved inside the box. And my cover.html is also inside a box. Let me refresh this. Now you've got this whole image news that no matter what size the window is, it's going to skew. So sometimes it's going to be fat and short, sometimes the image is going to stretch out long. I don't really care. The only reason I wanted is because I wanted to open up inside of this page that's called navwithaudiosnips.html inside this iframe. So if I hit refresh, there you go, news. It's this pretend TV generic thing. Then when I click on any of these tabs, something different is going to open up in that spot. But initially we get this picture. So I showed you all the code for the cover.html, which shows this news thing I created in Paint, so we don't have to look at that anymore. I have a style, an external style sheet that's the same code that nav with audio snips.html has, but when I put it in an external sheet, it didn't give me this output the same for some reason. So I wound up putting my style back in here. So this style.css we're not even going to deal with either. And when I do figure out why it's different, then I'll use this link right here. But right now I've got the link commented out. Nav with Audio Snips has the HTML tag, the head tag, the commented out link tag for the external style sheet, which I'm not using yet, and a script right here that is pointing to a JavaScript file, which is this JavaScript file. Here's the style for this particular page you're looking at right here. The body has a improperly spelled background URL pattern.ping because I'm not using that right now, but I wanted the code for when I do. So I z'd it out, which means it's, as in essence, it's not even really here. So the body for this particular page has a margin of 0 pix auto and padding of 5 pixels. I've got a class called up.up, which has a margin top of 5 pixels. Field set, I gave this set of styles background color beige, width of 98%, display inline, height of 5%, margin top of 20 pixels. The legend has a style, padding bottom of 5 pixels, font weight of bold. Iframe has a style, background URL box / news.png, which that actually didn't work doing it that way, which is why I had to do it by creating my cover page, as I showed you right here. Background color white, 98% height and 100% width. My A, which is the link tag, got margin right of 10 pixels, border left, thick black outset. Border left, thick black outset, padding 10 pixels, background color pink, border bottom left radius 2em, border bottom right radius 2em. That gives these navigations a rounded bottom and pointy left top and pointy right top, but rounded bottom left and rounded bottom right. Box shadow, negative 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 9 pixels, and pound 555. So you get that grayish shadow that is going down and to the left of the pink navigation areas here. The navigation areas being these links. Then we've got span tag style that has margin right of 20 pixels, because these right here, this click toggle pause is text inside of a span tag, and so that the click toggle pause and click toggle restart text isn't smashed all on one line, I have this space right here between them both, which is a space of 20 pixels. It's got a margin right of 20 pixels. If I were to put another span tag down there with more text, it would move over 20 pixels to the right, and then you'd see the text for that. Okay, my link, my A tag, a link has color black, a visited has color black, a hover has a background color of black and color of white. So when I hover on these, you can see that the number turns white and the background color turns, the number turns white and the background color turns black. And then active means you're actually on it and you're pressing color white. So if I press on this, the 4 keeps a color white. And the reason it turned green after I was done clicking on it is because I gave it a non-click event that changes the background color. And that's actually in the body itself. So there's the end of the style, the end of the head. Here's the body. We've got a field set with the class of up, and that field set starts this whole area. The legend has the words, title goes here, and you could see that right. I can't really highlight it. There it is. Title goes here. Then we have our first link, which is this first pink area that when I highlight over it, the background turns black. This is the whole link. Ref equals put a page here is just a placeholder for what actual address I want to put. I could put www.myway.com. I could I could put google.com, but Google won't open in an iframe. If I put google.com, then I have to set my target to underscore blank. But things that I actually do want to open up in this iframe right here, I will have target equals TV, because TV is the name of the iframe. The title is the tooltip, title equals title 1. So when I hover over this one, you see a tooltip pop up that says title 1. I hover over this, you see tooltip says title 2. This one says title 3, and this one says title 4. Those are all just placeholders. Whatever I actually create this navigation for, I'll change title 1 to the name of it so that it'll correspond properly. The mouse over event, this is using the document.getElement by ID with an ID of one.play. This is calling the .play function that I create in soundmouseover.javascript, and this is calling the pause event. And then we have on focus, my function this. On blur, my function out this. This actually is what I want Z'd out right now. I'm not using the on focus and the on blur, but I do want to use the on click. So for this link, we have a target. We've created a target. We've created a tooltip by using title. We are using the on mouse over event. We are using the on mouse out event. And I also have an on click event, which changes this from pink to this greenish color. On click, style.background color equals, and this pound 84 DFC1 is actually giving us this greenish color. Then I got return true, and in between the A tags I have just a number 1 as a placeholder for whatever I want to show up there. Same thing goes with the second navigation tab and the third navigation tab and the fourth navigation tab. End of the field set. Now we have a div with a style of 98% width, border thin gray solid, padding 10 pixels, height say 88%, background color tan. So you see this tan around here. That's showing you the div, and the iframe with this gray background is showing you the iframe element itself. It's got a name of TV, source, box/cover, which if I hit refresh here, you see this little news thing that I created in Paint. That's the default. That's the default source. When we click on these A links, we are going to target the TV and put something different in there besides this picture. We could put other pictures in there if we want to, other JPEGs or GIFs or any kind of image we want, or we could put other web pages that we create ourselves, or we could open up external web pages from the internet that as long as they open in the iframe. A lot of web pages are being coded so they don't open up in someone else's iframe. In this case, I want to find web pages that will open up in this iframe or create my own. There's the end of the div. Now here's those spans that I was telling you about. If I go down here, the words, the text, click, toggle, pause is in one span tag. So this span tag has an on-click event that calls the toggle pause function. Again, it's going to be a function in this JavaScript that I'm going to go over next. And we gave it an audio down here, an audio tag with the ID of my sound 2. And then in source, we go in the box folder, and I have an MP3 that's just called Gotcha. So this is an audio tag. It's not actually playing the audio, but it's putting the audio there. And this span tag is using this on-click event to call the toggle pause that actually is going to do something with my sound. And the text that you actually see on the page is click toggle pause. Just right, same down here, click toggle pause. End of the span tag, and here's the other span tag. On click, this is going to call the toggle restart function, and it's going to put my sound 2, which as you see down here in green, it's going to be the gotcha.mp3 file that's in the box folder. So that function is going to deal with that particular sound. And the words that you see in that span tag is click toggle restart. You see it right here. The difference between the click toggle pause and the click toggle restart. The click toggle pause means that when I click this text, it's going to play an MP3 file. If I click it again, it's going to pause it. If I click it again, it's going to resume the MP3 where it left off, and so on and so forth. It's going to pause and resume where it left off. This click toggle restart, however, the function for the click for the toggle restart is going to let you pause it, but when you click it again, it's going to restart from the very beginning. And you pause it, and you click it again, it always starts at the very beginning. So that's the difference. If we had a music file, and every time you clicked it, you hear music, then you got to get up and go somewhere. You click it again, it's going to pause. Well, if it's the restart function, it's going to restart over at the beginning every time. If it's the pause function, it's going to resume where it left off. So it's a slight bit of difference in the two functions. They're almost exactly the same, but you'll see there's a very slight difference. Okay, so all of this goes together in the body, the toggle pause and toggle restart that are pointed at in this JavaScript. Then we have these audio files with the ID of 1, ID of 2, ID of 3, and ID of 4. The source in the box is 1.mp3. The source for the second one is in the box and it's 2.mp3. Box /3.mp3 and box /4.mp3. So for these to work, which are using these navigations up here, we have a single div. A single div with the ID of sound div, and inside there we have bg id equals sound. So that's very strange, but this actually makes all four of these different mp3s work. But if you have to have this div with the bg sound ID of sound. If you don't, you will not be able to access these four different mp3s. Alright, end of body, end of HTML. So now I've showed you the whole code for this basic page right here that has a navigation and iframe and a couple of spans with some functionality. So we have some JavaScript that deals with these up here and some JavaScript that deals with these two span tags. So let's go to the sound mouse over. I have a couple functions in here that I'm not using, but they do work. And they do work with a nav with audio snips. So if I go to my nav tags up here, the code for the first one, this A link, I z'd them out right here on focus and on blur. So now I took the Z's off, so now they're spelled correctly. So let me go to the JavaScript and let me uncomment these out. Whoops. Let me take this off also. So now my function x.style.background equals yellow. Now this function is no longer commented out, so it's going to work. And also my function out x.style.background equals red. So now I have those opened up in my link here, which is this number 1 link, and I have them opened up in my JavaScript. So what's going to happen, because we are using on focus and on blur to call my function this and my function out this, what happens is I take one, let me refresh the page. I'm going to click on this 1 tab, and when I click on it and hold it, oh great, now when I click on it and hold it, it's yellow. Okay. When I go away from it and click on something else, it loses the focus completely. It's the clicking of the mouse puts focus somewhere else, and so then it turns red. So that's how these two work. When it's focusing on it, you've clicked on it and you're holding it in, it's yellow. When you're clicking on something else and you're not focused on it anymore, it turns red. Okay, that wasn't anything that excited me very well, so I just commented it out and saved it in case I might think of another reason that I might want to use the focus and blur. So I'm commenting back out in both the JavaScript and in the web page. So ZZ on blur, ZZ on focus. Okay, so now they're no longer going to work. If I hit refresh, I click on here, it does not turn yellow. I go away, click somewhere else, it does not turn red. That functionality has been removed by commenting it out. But I'm still using function play sound, and similarly to using the X here in the parentheses and then using it inside the meat of the curly braces, this function play sound is going to use its own parameter, and we've created it with a different name, sound obj for sound object. Then we're creating another variable var this sound, and we're setting it equal to, we're using document.getElement by ID, and we're referring to sound object. So there's one statement. We're using document.getElement by ID sound object, and we're putting it in a variable called this sound, and we're using that variable this sound, the dot operator, and dot play, the play method. So then we've got a function stop sound that does the exact same thing, but even this line of code is the same. But instead of saying this sound dot play, it's saying this sound dot pause, and it's also saying this sound dot current time equals 0. So play sound and stop sound. Let's see what is calling play sound and stop sound. It's using the dot play and the dot pause and the dot current time. This must be automatic JavaScript methods that I don't need to actually create the functions for, because I don't see me calling play sound and stop sound. I see me calling play, and I see calling dot pause. So my on mouse over, when I mouse over this, it's going to play a sound that I gave an ID of 1. And then when I move out of it, when I go away from it, then it's going to use the media that I called 1, and it's going to use the dot pause to pause it. Now, that's further down here. That's these. That's using these. Audio ID equals 1, 2, 3, and 4 with these sources, and this ID sound div with the background sound ID of sound. So when I hover over this, I hear my MP3, and if I hover and hover out really quick, I hear that my MP3 played and then instantly stopped playing as soon as I get pulled out of the area, the hover area of the element. So that's what these two functions do. Then I've got some functions that have to do with clicking these span tags. So we have function toggle pause, and we're still using the same name for that element, sound obj. Here we're creating a variable called audio, var audio equals, and we're doing the same thing again, document.getElement by ID, sound object, and here we have an if and an else, because this is a toggle. Here we have two different things that are happening. We are hovering over top of this, and then we're leaving. So we're going over it and we're going away from it. These, on the other hand, this doesn't have anything to do with hovering in or out. This has to do with clicking on it. So if we click on it, we are going to play the MP3, and it's going to call this toggle pause method. So var audio equals document.getElement by ID sound obj. If the audio is already paused, then what's going to happen when you click on it is it's going to go from pause to play. So if audio is paused, clicking on it will create it to create the play. Otherwise, if it's not already paused, that means it's playing, and you click on it, it's going to do the opposite. So this is how we toggle. If it's doing this, then do the opposite. If it's not doing that, then do the opposite of what it is doing. So if I go back here, this is, let me find, this is the span tags that are doing that. The on click toggle pause. On click for this one is running the toggle pause function. This one down here is running the toggle restart function. And both of them are calling the same sound here. I could use different sounds. I could have a certain sound or a certain song happen when I click on this, and I could have a totally different song do this. If I had two different songs, what I would have to do, let's say I have my sound 2 and my sound 3. They have to have their unique names. Then what would happen would be my sound 3, and let's call that, I don't know, Gotcha 3. So here we have an MP3 called Gotcha. Here we'll create another one, or imagine we create another one called Gotcha 3, so they're slightly different. Then this one would be, when you click on it, my sound 2 would play, which would be the Gotcha MP3. And then this case, we would change this to my sound 3. And when you click on this one, my sound 3 would play the Gotcha 3 MP3. That's how you would have different sounds with the same functions. Well, actually, these are different functions, but they would be doing something with a different particular song or sound. Audio snippet. I haven't actually created that one, so I don't need to, but I'm just showing you if you did have extra ones, because down here we have 4 unique different MP3 files. So for each unique MP3 that we're pointing at, we have to create its own audio tag with its own unique ID. Same here. You'd have its own audio tag with its own unique ID, and it would be pointing to a different MP3. Okay, so then that took care of these functions. And the toggle restart, okay, the toggle pause function right here deals with clicking on this span text. The toggle restart is almost exactly the same. Notice var audio equals document.getElementById by ID sound object. Var audio equals document.getElementById by ID sound object. The if statement, if audio.paused, same as here, if audio.paused. If it's paused, then we're going to play it. If it's paused, then we're going to play it. Otherwise, now this is the difference. For the toggle pause that goes back to where you left off, you are going to pause it if it's playing. But for the restart that's going to start at the very beginning each time, you're going to toggle, you're going to audio.pause and then audio.current time equals 0. This is the line of code that's going to set you to the restart instead of turning the MP3 on where you left off. This is going to restart it at the beginning each time. So basically these two functions are identical, except that this function adds one more line of code, and that's it. Now here this function is for hovering, and function play clip 1, play clip 2, play all the way to play clip 12. That's when I had 12 different tabs up here, navigation tabs. So this first one, function play clip 1, if navigator.appname equals Microsoft Internet Explorer, then we ask another condition, if document.all, then document.all.sound.source equals soundwave. Okay, now this is shown over and over and over again. Play clip 1, play clip 2, play clip 3. The only part that's different is the else. Var audio equals document.getElementById. Here they're pulling sound 1 and then audio play. Here they're pulling sound 2 and then audio play. For play clip 3, the function for play clip 3, they're using the sound 3 and audio plays the same, and so on and so forth for however many of these navigations that I want. So that basically takes us to the whole everything, all the functions that were in the sound mouse over, but I I let's see, sound div. This right here, there's only 4, but at one time I had 12. I had 12 things going across the top, but I wanted to make the code a lot more simple. So that's why currently I only have audio snippets for 4 navigations, and then up here I only have 4 navigations. I could take this all 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and copy it, and then paste it 2 times. So 4 times 3 would be 12, and then you would see 12 tabs up here, and then I could come down here and I could do the same thing here. I could copy and paste this a couple more times so that, and then change the numbers to 1.mp3 all the way to 4, and then 5.mp3 all the way to 8, and then 9.mp3 all the way to 12. And then I just have to use Audacity and actually create those additional 8 mp3 files. This right here stays exactly the same. So that really is about it. We created a cover page that opens up when you hit refresh or you first open the nav with audio snips, and whatever image you want to default into your iframe will default as long as you go to, again, where's my iframe? Right here, and you stick whatever page that is or picture that you want as the source. Then when you push these navigations, it's going to take you somewhere. Well, it's not taking us anywhere yet. So why don't I just find some place to go? Let's check out some YouTube. YouTube.com. And this one is about live blood analysis, wet blood analysis, and I believe dry blood analysis. So if I want this to open up, let me pause this. If I want this particular thing to open up in my iframe and replace this news thing, what I would do is I would go down here to the YouTube share button. Then I would click embed. Now the only thing I want out of this whole highlighted thing, I don't want the iframe because I have my own iframe. I want to go to the source, and inside the double quotes, you don't have to double click, you don't have to highlight the double quotes, just everything that's inside of the double quotes. So highlight that, right click, and hit copy. Then go to your own code where your hrefs are, which are your links, and then right inside of these double quotes where I have put a page here, carefully highlight that, right click, and paste. Now I have a YouTube address, a real YouTube address that is going to go inside of my iframe that I named TV. So if I click save, and then I go back to my nav with audio snips and I refresh, again you see my default news image that I created in Paint. Now I'm going to click 1. And this is going to bring up my live blood analysis, wet blood analysis YouTube video. Now I want to take my title, which is a tooltip when I hover over this, and I don't want it to be title 1 anymore. I want it to be what this is about. So right in here, title equals title 1. Just highlight title 1, not the everything that's in the double quotes, carefully, and hit backspace, and then type in, let's see, what is it called? HemaView live blood analysis. Whoops. Dash wet blood analysis. Did I spell that right? Okay. So now I've given it something to point to and put inside of my TV, my iframe named TV. Now I've given it a new tooltip. So I save this, I refresh the page. When I click over, when I hover over one, now you see the new tooltip: HemoView, live blood analysis, wet blood analysis. And when I click on it, it opens this up again. What else would I like to change? I would like my audio snippet to change. Currently, my audio snippet is it's 1.mp3. Where is it? It's down here at the bottom. This in box 1.mp3 is just a snippet that I am saying 1.mp3. So let me go to my Audacity. I want to change that, and I want it to also match this. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record, and I'm just going to read the title of what this is. HemoView live blood analysis, wet blood analysis. And then I hit the yellow for stop. I want to make sure that this dead spot in the front, I highlight it and hit delete. Then I hit File, Export Audio. I want to export that, and I want to replace this 1.mp3 with it. So I'm going to click on it. It already exists. Replace. Yes, I want to replace it. Then I hit the OK button here. Okay, now just that quick, because it's a short thing, it replaced it. I could hit File, Close. I don't need to save it. I can minimize this to get it out of my way. Now when I refresh this and I hover on here, you can't hear it, but the MP3 that I just created, every time I hover over this, is red. So I have an audio that lets me know what this navigation does. I have a tool tip that pops up and lets me know what this navigation does. And I could do the same, and then when I click on it, it actually opens it up in here. I could do the same thing for 2, 3, and 4. So I'll go back to YouTube and find something totally different. Let's look for comedy. I don't care what kind. Comedy. Okay, let's look at Louis C.K. Now I'm in YouTube, I'm going to go to the share. I'm going to hit pause because I don't want to hear that run in the background. I'm going to hit share. Then I'm going to hit the embed. And again, I don't want the whole thing. I just want what's inside of the source. So carefully highlight what's inside of the double quotes for source. Right click it, copy it, go to your code, which is here, and go to the second link, which is here, and enter your aref equals put a page here. Just highlight the words put a page here, right click and paste. Now we have a new YouTube video. One thing that I didn't do, instead of having the number 1 here, I could keep that number 1, or I could take this title, right click it, copy it, and I could replace the number 1 with the actual title as well, which if I save that, you see how long this gets? Because I have a tooltip that when I hover over it, it gives me the name anyway. I could do it this way and have both, or I could just leave this as 1 to save space, which is what I want to do at this time. I want to save that. I just want to keep my navigation links short. You hover over it, you get to hear what it is and see what it is by the tooltip. I get to save space and make this look uniform. All right, so my second one should open up my comedy, and there it is. So I want to go to my title for the second one. Instead of title 2, I want to type what it is. It's Louis C.K. / Comedy Store Completo sub ITA 2015. And that's everything that's showing up here. You don't have to do all of that if you don't want to. You could just put the words comedy if you want to in the title. It's just a tooltip to let you know what to expect. So I hit save. I refresh it. Again, HemoView Live Blood Analysis, Louis C.K. Comedy Store. I have to make a new MP3 for this. So I'll go back to my Audacity. And open this up so I can read it. I'm going to make another MP3. I'm going to click it and read this. Louis C.K. Comedy Store, Completo Sub ITA 2015. And again, I want to get rid of any dead space and export audio. And I'm going to replace the two MP3. So just click it and say, yes, I want to replace it. Click OK. And just that quick, it did it. File it. Close. Don't need to save changes. Minimize it. Get out of my way. This works. That works. Let's go for a third one. Let's see. Instead of comedy, let's do politics. Oh, let's look up Jake Tapper on Conan, which that's probably more of comedy. Again, go to share. Share. After you hit share, hit embed. Click out of there so it's not all blue, and only highlight the source. What's in the source, double quotes. Right click, copy. And for the third one, put it right there. A ref equals what? Equals that address. And I don't want to hear this while I'm doing it. So I hit the pause. Go back to Audacity. Make a new one. For some reason this is not pausing. Why is it not pausing? Jake Tapper on Donald Trump and dirty politics. File. Export audio. I'm replacing 3.mp3. Yes. Okay. File close. No, I don't need to save it. Minimize. Go back here. Refresh. See, I already got my audio, but I need to change my title. So right here, title equals something, not title 3. It's going to be Jake Tapper on Donald Trump and dirty politics. Save it. Refresh it. There's that one. There's that one. There's that one. And let's find one more. YouTube.com. What else could I find? Maybe a song. Music. I want music. Music. What do I want? Okay, this is different. Brahms' Lullaby for Babies. 12 hours of soft music. Wow. If you can't sleep, do that. Hit share. Embed. Click out of there so the whole thing isn't blue, if it'll let you. And only look for the source. What's inside of the double quotes is all you need. Right click it, copy. And for the fourth one, a ref equals, put that address there, paste it in. Change your title instead of saying title 4. Am I spelling that right? Brahms Lullaby for Babies. 12 hours of soft music. Save it. Go to my Audacity, make a new one. Brahms Lullaby for Babies, 12 hours of soft music. Export audio. This is our 4 MP3 replacement. Okay. Did it that quick. Close it. Don't need to save it. And I'm not making any more, so I can get out of my Audacity. I can close out of YouTube. I can save what I created. And my legend here, where it says title, goes here. Let's make my legend font bigger than this. Let's make, this is in my CSS styles at the top. I want my font to have wait a minute, font. Am I forgetting? Font size. I'm sorry. I had a brain fart there. Let's say 35 pixels. Font size 35 pixels. What am I doing wrong? Oh, wow. I really got a brain fart going on. Font size, colon, 35 pixels, semicolon. Only thing about that is it's chopping, it's pushing this down and it's chopping this underneath my iframe. So let me go with something a little smaller. 25 pixels. Yeah, that'll work. And instead of the words in the legend, title goes here. Let's change that to tutorial webpage tutorial with CSS and JavaScript. Save it. Okie doke. So if you highlight it, Hemaview, live blood analysis, wet blood analysis, Louis C.K. Comedy Store, Jake Tapper, Brahms Lullaby for Babies. Although you cannot hear it, what happens when I hover over this is I actually hear the MP3 of me reading what it's about before the tooltip even pops up. It would be nice if it did it at exactly the same time, but it doesn't. It reads the audio first and then you see the tooltip. And clicking on it, I get I get that YouTube video, get this YouTube video, there's that one, there's that one. And this right here, when I click on it, I hear an MP3 and I click it again. It pauses. I have silence. I click it again. It starts where it left off. Click it again. Click this one. I hear an MP3. When I click it, it pauses it. When I click it again, I hear it start over from the beginning. You can't hear it, but I can. So if you take this code and create your own MP3s, whether it's voice snippets, directions, quiz questions, or music files, if you follow the code, it'll work for you in the same manner.